This is Mitch Greenberg, Andrew Wyke, first scene. My dear boy, you don't have to explain to me. We're all liberals here, I hope. I can assure you, I have no prejudice against Jews, or even half-Jews. Some of my best friends are half-Jews. Mind you, I take it you have no objections to any children you and Marguerite might have being brought up Church of England?
None whatsoever, if that's what Marguerite wants.
You haven't discussed it yet?
Not yet. It doesn't seem to have cropped up.
Well, I suppose in some ways that's rather a relief. But if you take my advice, you'll opt for Church of England. So much simpler. A couple of hours on Christmas Eve and Good Friday, and you've seen the whole thing off nicely. And of course, if you throw in Remembrance Sunday, they award you the Distinguished Christian Medal.
It's the same with a lot of Jews. My father used to say, most people only talk to their really old friends 2 or 3 times a year. Why should God be angry if he gets the same treatment?
Most amusing. Your father, was his name Tyndall? It doesn't sound very Italian.
His name was Tindolini. But if you had a name like that in England in those days, you had to make it ice cream. He was a watchmaker, and so he changed it.
Was he a successful man?
No. His business failed. He went back to Italy. I send him money from time to time and go and visit him to get a little sun or skiing, depending, of course, on the season.
Well, come on now. Let's talk about you. Tell me, what do you do for a living?
In the travel business. I have my own agency in South London.
Have you really? What fun. Tyndall's Travels, eh? I see. And where do you live?
I live above the office.
Oh, do you? In South London?
Yes, I rent the whole house. It's attractive and it's convenient. It's Georgian.
Well, I'm sure it's perfectly delightful. But I doubt whether an 18th century architectural gem south of the Thames whispers quite the same magic to Marguerite as it does to you.
She adores old houses. She can't wait to live there.
I thought she was already living there, at least for a couple of nights a week. I'm not mistaken, am I? And surely your motive in renting the cottage down here was to increase the incidence of this hebdomadal coupling.
I came to be near the woman I love. It is a great pain for us to be apart. You wouldn't understand.
No, possibly not. But I understand Marguerite well enough to know that she does not adore old houses. She's lived here quite a time, and between them the rising damp and the death watch beetle have put the boot into her good and proper. These days she's only to look at a mullioned window and she breaks out in lumps.
Perhaps it wasn't the house so much as the person she had to share it with.
Now, I thought you were well brought up. Surely you know it's very rude to make personal remarks.
I'm sorry. You were disparaging my lover.
No, on the contrary, I was reminiscing about my wife. Mitch Greenberg as Andrew Wyke, second scene. May I ask why you took 2 days to come and ask me about all this?
Well, sir, things take longer to check out than we think. We like to be certain of our facts before troubling a gentleman like yourself.
Facts? What facts?
After our informant reported the incident, we did a spot of checking in the village, and I say, Mr. Ben was very helpful.
Well, there's an upright citizen then.
Quite so, sir.
If there were more like him.
He told us that Mr. Tyndall popped into the pub Friday evening for a quick one and said he was just on his way up to see you. But as I previously indicated, he seems to have disappeared, sir.
But what's that got to do with me?
He wasn't at his cottage all of Saturday, nor all of today. We must have called half a dozen times.
Oh, by Jove, Merridew would have been proud of you. Now, Inspector, if that's all you have to say.
When we stepped into Mr. Tyndall's cottage to make sure he'd come to no harm, we found this note, sir. Urgent we talk. Come Friday night, 8 o'clock, Wyke. Is that your handwriting, sir?
Yes. Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Tyndall was here?
Yes, the potman spoke sooth.
Perhaps you wouldn't mind answering my original question now, sir.
Which one?
Was there a struggle here on Friday night?
In a manner of speaking, yes, it was a game we were playing.
Game? What kind of game?
Well, it's rather difficult to describe. It's called burglary.
Please don't joke, sir.
Isn't it about time you told me I don't know the seriousness of my own position?
A man comes here. There is a fight. Shots are heard. He disappears. What would you make of that if you were me?
An open and shut case. But things are not always what they seem. In my last book, for example, Meridew proved by a phonetic misspelling the forgery of a document apparently written by a deaf mute.
I'm waiting for an explanation.
Tyndall arrived at 8 and left about an hour and a half later. I haven't seen him since.
And nor has anyone else, sir.
Oh, this is absurd. Are you suggesting that I killed Tyndall?
Kill Tyndall, sir? I never mentioned the word kill.
Oh, really? You can't pull that old one on me. Garrotted, sir? Might I ask how you knew that her ladyship was garrotted? Well, surely you told me so, Inspector. Oh, no, sir. I never mentioned the word garrotted.
I'm sorry you find us so comic, sir. On the whole, what we do is necessary.
Just doing your job. That's the overworked phrase, I think.
It's quite true, sir.
Please, do sit down. This is Mitch Greenberg, Andrew Wyke monologue. Perhaps I shouldn't. We'll edit that. Perhaps I shouldn't do it with a gun at all. Perhaps I should shove the ham knife into you and leave you face down in the middle of the floor, your blood staining the flagstones a deep carmine. Best of all, how about a real 1930s murder weapon? The Mashy Niblick? I think I've got one here someplace. Yes, here it is, my dear old Mashy Niblick. You would be discovered somewhere over here, I think, in a fair old mess. The body lay on its back, its limbs grotesquely splayed like a broken puppet. The whole head had been pulped as if by some superhuman force. My God, said the inspector, turning pale. Thompson, you better bring a tarpaul in. Excuse me, sir, but was all this violence strictly necessary? I'm sorry, Inspector. It was when I saw him handling my wife's night dresses. I must have completely lost control of myself. All right, sir. Don't get upset. I understand. No, I don't like it. It's cheap. No, I think the scene the police find is simply this. After the fight, you flee up the stairs to regain your ladder. I catch you on the landing, and in the renewed struggle, I shoot you. Nothing succeeds like simplicity. Don't you agree, Milo? Now, some of my own fingerprints on my own gun. On your feet. Up! Did you know that on the morning of his execution, King Charles put on 2 shirts? If I tremble with cold, he said, my enemies will say it was from fear. I will not expose myself to such reproaches. You too, Milo, Tyndall, must attempt dignity as you mount the steps to the scaffold. I hate you. I hate your smarmy, good-looking Latin face and your easy manner. I bet you're easy in a ski lodge, and easy on a yacht, and easy on a beach. I bet you a pound to a penny that you wear a gold charm around your neck, and that in summer your hairy chest is matted with sun oil. I hate you because you are a mock-humble, jeweled, shot-cufflink sponger. A world is my oysterer, a seducer of silly women, and a king among marshmallow snakes. I hate you because you are a creeping putz, a wop, a yid, a not one of me. Come, little man, did you really think I was going to give up my wife and jewels to you? That I would make myself that ridiculous? She's mine, whether I love her or not. I found her, I've kept her. I am familiar with her, and once she was in love with me. And you are a young man, dressed as a clown, about to be murdered. Put the mask on, my